go live on Instagram as well, just to test out whether or not I can actually stream on Instagram while I'm doing this. And it doesn't seem to let me do that. So that was like one of the issues that I had with. Okay, well, it'll play music. Let's see, story, reels, live. So testing. Testing IG live. And I'm gonna just play some video games, but okay. Testing IG live. Okay. All right. It says checking connection. It is saying that I am connected. Okay. So I'm gonna play some video games for a few minutes. I am streaming on StreamYard. And the reason I'm doing this is because, we do the M3 live broadcast, and, Instagram is our largest platform. And the only problem with that is that where I stream on StreamYard, there is no way to just put the feed right into StreamYard. Into IG. So I could get on my phone like I'm doing right now and talking to this mic. But right now, maybe no one hears me. I don't know. That's why I'm testing it. If you can hear me and the music from the video game, then that should mean that that I should be able to talk into this while streaming, Saturday. So, we got our regular lineup for the Hangouts, but I do have like a change of plans. Oh, there we go. Alarm went off. I do have a change of plans for Sunday. We're going to be doing it a couple of hours earlier. So every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern, Derek hosts a live stream on M3 Live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and hopefully a little bit of Instagram if I can get it to work. We'll see. Because I know like Instagram is, like I said, the largest platform that I have. And I dig Instagram. I don't know what it is. Like the feedback that I get from people is much better. When I started M3 in 2013, it was mostly Facebook, like almost all of it. There was a blog and I would share the blog posts, and I had pretty good feedback, but I think my issue with Facebook was there was a lot of negativity that came along with that. Like people just acted an ass on there. I don't get that on Instagram as much. I don't know. Maybe like people just got too much shit to look at to be like making asinine comments on some random dude's post. I don't know. But Facebook motherfuckers will come after you. I don't understand that. But yeah, no, Facebook has been a lot better. YouTube is kind of also, I don't know, it's an issue. One of my videos got taken down for disinformation about COVID, and I couldn't even really find where that happened, in the video. So there's that. There's also the issue when I post some of the thirst traps on Instagram and Facebook, they get flagged for content violations, even though they were originally posted on someone else's account. So, it wasn't a first post. It wasn't mine. I often still post and thank people for supporting the page, because I used to go and ask permission from people ahead of time, and that just really just slowed it down. So few people have an issue with the reposts that, you know, the amount that I'm posting every week, it would just get, you know, bottlenecked if I was having to go out and ask everyone. But you know, I do take note of people who have an issue with it, and I just don't repost.
Your return honors me, Guardian.
Yeah. So anyway, I am just gonna take some relaxing downtime. This is Arc Day.
How nice to see.
I don't even feel like looking at the bounties. No, it's void. Okay, whatever.
I could get you another if you like.
Grab some of these Solstice bounties. I'm not even doing the Solstice event, but I don't know. It gives you key fragments and XP. That's fine. I don't care.
I do enjoy.
I might open a few packages at some point. So
Checking right now.
here's a legendary energy shotgun that you can get from the event. The stats are horrible. Oh god. Okay. The fuck? Yeah. This is gnawing hunger. Huh. Subsistence demolitionist. Stability masterwork. I don't have that role. And they recently buffed subsistence. And it has accurized, hammer forged, and a stability masterwork. I just don't need stability, but I won't turn it down. Like more range would probably be the best thing for it, because I think this thing's got enough stability, but like having more stability has never been a bad thing. So I think that's a keeper. This is Killing Wind, Elemental Capacitor, and it has Handling Masterwork. That's instant dismantle. This is what? Ambitious Assassin Snapshot. Yeah, instant dismantle. I try to go for auto loading on those. Breach load grenade launchers. All right.
Transfer.
Yeah, and this stag is so garbage. I'm still going to collect it though. It's an exotic, but
good luck.
All right.
Good luck. Good luck.
What do I got to do?
Come here and let me look at you.
She said she wanted to express herself, so I
Let's see here.
The traveler will always triumph over the darkness.
I still got this
I know it.
weekly. Do I? Nope, I did that one. Okay. I got the thing there. I guess did I do the strikes? I did.
Just browsing,
so
are we?
Gambit. I'll just go back and forth between Override and Gambit, I guess, for a few rounds. I don't know why I'm going for strike bounties. There could be some general ones. I actually do need one or two bounties for Zavala. Yep, that'll do. Those have to be done in strikes. Yeah, but the grenades I can do anywhere. So, go see the Drifter. And maybe just do three gambits, or I don't know, 3 overrides and then 3 gambits. I don't know, something like that. So my ether is probably full, and yeah, I don't have anything in my postmaster I really care about. I didn't get the. I don't know why I'm walking all the way down here to get these. I can use the app to get my bounties. I just realized that. But,
How you living?
I'm gonna have to use the app to get my weapons anyway, because I'm playing on multiple characters. I don't really.
Careful with that.
A lot of people will have
That was
specific weapons for specific characters. I mean, I do that a little bit. It's like certain perks are only good on hunters or warlocks or whatever. So I'll just keep those weapons on them if I have any plans to use them. But there's certain weapons I have that I'm going to use on any character. So pull out my tablet. Let's see what bounties I can grab from the app. Yeah, the gunsmith bounties. Let's see what we got. For warlock. Let's see, arc. Rocket launcher. Shotgun. Scout rifle. Oh yeah, I can fuck with that. Scout rifle and a shotgun go pretty good together. Rockets are amazing right now. That's actually a good loadout. And then I'm just grabbing like some more random weapons. Said arc. I could do either an arc rocket or a shotgun, or I could do. Probably should do an arc scout. I think I do have a decent arc scout, but let's see what these bounties are. Okay. Let's see what's over hand. Oh, rocket launcher. Okay, that works. Yeah, might as well get all these. And I should probably get Varix's bounties because I think they're on Europa. I think Override is on Europa this week. I really don't remember. Now let me work out my loadout. I definitely can just do a I almost never use an exotic shotgun. I don't know why. I just don't need it. So this one will do. This scout rifle is solar. But here we go, right there. Killing Wind, Thresh. I feel like I could do better than Killing Wind. That's one of those that I feel like is much better on a hunter. Let me see what we got. Type. Scout. Damage type. Arc. Oh, don't have that much better. I got. Yeah, that's the highest light level too. I got one with rapid hit thresh. I think that's just straight up better. Gremlish Masterwork. Yeah, let me just go with that. And probably just do Deathbringer because, you know, why not? Yeah. Now, I think it's Void Day. I don't think it really matters. But Void is a pretty good subclass to use anyway, so I wasn't really looking at my other bounties, but here we go. So I always like to run 100 recovery and 100 discipline if I can. So yeah, this is already good. So I have some choices in my build. I can do a charge with light build or a what's the other one? The elemental well build. And because this is heavily leaning toward grenades, I mean, it seems to me I should run the well build. So currently I have two ways of making wells: grenades, and whenever I cast a rift, I'd make a well. Got anti-barrier scout on. Right. Do have a scout loader for cheap. Don't even really need it, but discipline. Could throw it in a recovery. Swap it out. No, I need discipline, but not even sure what resistance is good in here. But I am running mostly void, so void resistance. I can run Font of Wisdom. Gives me extra super energy. What's this? Yeah. It's just got better stats, and I can run. I guess that shield break one. Right. Yeah. So now I think I need another void. Okay. Void boots. Yeah, I used to be so fucking anal about this, but no, I don't care now. I got that vitality one, shotgun. Just switch this to rocket. It's already on recovery. Yep, I should have never switched this one. Just put that back to discipline. I could go with like scout dexterity instead of a loader. Something. I don't know if dexterity matters. I don't think so. Shotgun dexterity fills up the whole thing, doesn't it? That's where I'm just being anal retentive about the fact that it's not taking up all the energy slots. Yeah. Story of my life. Oh, yeah. May also want the the war mind cell thing. Yeah, I think I'll just put it up here. War mind's decree. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna run and override and see. Yep, just on Europa 2. Make sure I have slotted all my ether so I can earn more. Yeah, I did. Yep, and I need to use up my ether. All right, so what other bounties? That is grenade launcher. Oh well. I can always switch that after. Kinetic weapon, power weapon, effects, arc weapon. That's good. Using that melee. Advanced scout. So if I get a bunch of scout kills without dying, I could do that with the scout and the shotgun. And the rocket launcher. Shit, I got lucky on this, but the only thing is with the advanced calibrations, you have to not die, or it resets your progress. And in pretty much everything I run, I'm gonna die except for strikes because I make it a point not to. But even then, like, because I'm holding back, I'm not really getting kills to finish the bounty. So that was always like a internal debate I've had, was like, do I want to play the game or just do bounties? A lot of people just choose to do the bounties because it's an objective they have, they want to complete. I'm definitely not on that bandwagon anymore.
Midbrack has located a back door to the Vex domain. Get your foot in that door and secure the data.
Yeah, got a grenade on me. I notice like a lot of people on here are just killing shit and aren't really doing the objective. And I don't blame them because they're doing bounties. But there's also so many things in here that for the most part it doesn't even matter. Like I don't even know how that matters. Yeah, Chaos Reach usually drops a lot of orbs.
In fact, think they can outsmart you. Crush their simple passcode. Won't give up so easily. They're recalibrating their defenses. Be ready for anything. A sacred splicer must feel the Vex as you feel the light. By sensing to await nearby, enter and secure the data.
Oh shit, what the fuck is... Hit it, man. I hate that fucking lag. Like it. Oh boy. This is where I die. Look. I could float like a fairy. Yep, there we go. We can fill up our moats. Deposit some. Grab some ammo.
Splicer tech must work, because the packs are converted to shut it down.
Oh, eat these fuckers right here. Those turrets.
Thanks for trying to lock you out. Show them that Guardians are not so easily outwitted.
Go ahead, that on.
You're wearing them down, Guardian. Their metal is no match for your light.
Okay.
The vortex resists manifestation. A final surge of data will force it into being. Countermeasures income. Turn them back to scrap.
Bring it back up there. Real quick. Oh god, he's gonna kill me too. God damn it. Oh, fuck. I can hate those turrets. Should have just run.
This is their last attempt to lock you out.
So I was gonna try to get that advanced scout calibration, but I just died. Went back to 0. But that's so many scout kills. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I had a lot. There's probably just run momentum transfer instead of scout dexterity or shotgun dexterity. And yeah, I don't care about dexterity. Get my melee back.
Trust anyone, not even our own landlord, and especially not the fallen invaders.
Did they just go around this thing? I think they did. That's kind of neat. I didn't even know you could do that. Okay. Well.
Crush their last defense to complete the splice. We have other networks to collapse.
No one's gonna kill us though.
The endless night was Sabathun's work all along. I can't believe we missed it.
Yes, but seeing the Witch Queen is rather careful in her manipulation. Twofold effect.
You almost sound like you admire her.
Shouldn't I? We could learn much from studying Sabathun's manipulations. See a larger picture.
To what end, Osiris?
Oh, better to understand your enemies than to learn to think like them.
All right, let's see what I got here. Well, a total of 2 bounties. Wow. The scout was not slapping really, but I said I wasn't really killing that much either. That's to be expected. All right, slap on another one of these. And do it again. Again. As they would say. All right. Interesting. Okay. Haven't really been paying attention to those. Let me turn this shit off. All right. If it works, it works. Me end in now. Download video. So I'm gonna listen to the Demon Haunted World. It's just come on, computer.
A sacred splicer must feel the vex as you feel the light. I sense a hidden doorway nearby. Enter and secure the data.
So I did not know that Thunder still made those.
Judging by the Vex response, your fancy splicer glove is working. Keep at it.
Oh, lovely.
Repairs like a body healing a cut. Disrupt the passcode to keep the splice alive. I can practically hear the Vex gears grinding. They cannot stop you, but they will still try. The network bends to your will. It cannot resist for much longer.
I need a Boy Scout, Firefly, or whatever the fuck. Look. What is that? Oh, floating. Okay.
I sense the Vex mind. It lashes out with something like desperation. They are coming for you.
That's what's so good. What the fuck?
Complete the final unlock sequence to manifest the vortex. This must be the vortex. Enter before it closes.
Subjugated minds that control this domain are but pawns in Summerton's larger game. But be careful. Even pawns can kill the queen.
Rush their last defense to complete the splice. We have other networks to collapse.
Shooting is tough stuff. Okay.
Now that we know Salvador is behind the attack on the city, our missions are even more important. The Witch Queen threatens all. Together is the only way forward. I could not have said it better, my four-armed friend.
All right. Okay. All right. I mean, I guess all I got to do is go to. Nope.
All right.
Hey everyone, I'm Black, Dr. Darian here, emergency medicine physician, and I have a little bit of a different lesson today that revolves around comments such as this one. While that comment is based in ignorance and racism, I wanted to share with you an important tool.
Welcome aboard. Takes about 100 of Shax's red jacks to kill a hive night. Why does he bother building?
All right. So the IG stream did not work.
Give me those moves, and I'll make you rich, sister. I promise.
I kind of knew that was going to happen, but it's been a while since I've tried it, so thought I'd give it a shot. The one time I got it to work was when I did an IG live and had someone join me. So I might still try that. Just as a heads up to people
Hostiles inbound at the beach.
to get on IG. or on YouTube, wherever.
Hostiles at the trees. Watch it! You're shedding moat! Kill the blockers! You're being invaded. Find them before they find you. Medium blocker to the other side. Portal's ready. Go say hello. Enemy invader is down. Your allies invaded. Incoming wave at the ruins. Your allies down, but they took out 2 opponents. Now. High value target identified. Get him. Invader incoming. Sending medium blocker. Enemy invader down. Rita.
Not playing too well. I can run this in my book.
For extraterrestrial intelligence, or the newly discovered ancient civilization bird, nor did he know even vaguely about quantum indeterminacy, of Ebla that advertised the virtues of Ebla beer. No, he hadn't only recognized DNA only as 3 frequently linked capital letters. Mr. Buckley, well-spoken, intelligent, curious, had heard virtually nothing of modern science. He had a natural appetite for the wonders of the universe. He wanted to know about science. It's just that all the science had gotten filtered out before it reached him. Our cultural motifs, our educational system, our communications media had failed this man. What the society permitted to trickle through was mainly pretense and confusion. It had never taught him how to distinguish real science from the cheap imitation. He knew nothing about how science works. There are hundreds of books about Atlantis, the mythical continent that is said to have existed something like 10,000 years ago in the Atlantic Ocean, or somewhere. A recent book locates it in Antarctica. The story goes back to Plato, who reported it as hearsay, coming down to him from remote ages. Recent books authoritatively describe the high level of Atlantean technology, morals and spirituality, and the great tragedy of an entire populated continent sinking beneath the waves. There is a new age Atlantis, the legendary civilization of advanced sciences, chiefly devoted to the science of crystals. In a trilogy called Crystal Enlightenment by Katrina Raphael, the books mainly responsible for the crystal craze in America, Atlantean crystals read minds, transmit thoughts, are the repositories of ancient history and the model and source of the pyramids of Egypt. Nothing approximating evidence is offered to support these assertions. The resurgence of crystal mania may follow the recent finding by the real science of seismology that the inner core of the Earth may be composed of a single huge, nearly perfect crystal of iron. A few books, Dorothy Vitiliano's Legends of the Earth, for example, sympathetically interpret the original Atlantis legends in terms of a small island in the Mediterranean that was destroyed by a volcanic eruption, or an ancient city that slid into the Gulf of Corinth after an earthquake. This, for all we know, may be the source of the legend, but it is a far cry from the destruction of the continent on which had sprung forth a preternaturally advanced technical and mystical civilization. What we almost never find in public libraries or newsstand magazines or primetime television programs is the evidence from seafloor spreading and plate tectonics, and from mapping the ocean floor, which shows quite unmistakably that there could have been no continent between Europe and the Americas on anything like the timescale proposed. Spurious accounts that snare the gullible are readily available. Skeptical treatments are much harder to find. Skepticism does not sell well. A bright and curious person who relies entirely on popular culture to be informed about something like Atlantis is hundreds or thousands of times more likely to come upon a fable treated uncritically than a sober and balanced assessment. Maybe Mr. Buckley should know to be more skeptical about what's dished out to him by popular culture. But apart from that, it's hard to see how it's his fault. He simply accepted what the most widely available and accessible sources of information claimed was true. For his naivete, he was systematically misled and bamboozled. Science arouses a soaring sense of wonder, but so does pseudoscience. Sparse and poor popularizations of science abandon ecological niches that pseudoscience promptly fills. If it were widely understood that claims to knowledge require adequate evidence before they can be accepted, there would be no room for pseudoscience. But a kind of Gresham's law prevails in popular culture, by which bad science drives out good. All over the world, there are enormous numbers of smart, even gifted people who harbor a passion for science. But that passion is unrequited. Surveys suggest that some 95% of Americans are scientifically illiterate. That's just the same fraction as those African Americans, almost all of them slaves, who were illiterate just before the Civil War, when severe penalties were enforced for anyone who taught a slave to read.
Nice work.
Of course, there's a degree of arbitrariness about any determination of illiteracy, whether it applies to language or to science. But anything like 95% illiteracy is extremely serious. Every generation worries that educational standards are decaying. One of the oldest short essays in human history, dating from Sumer some 4,000 years ago, laments that the young are disastrously more ignorant than the generation immediately preceding. 2,400 years ago, the aging and grumpy Plato, in Book 7 of the Laws, gave his definition of scientific illiteracy. Who is unable to count 1, 2, 3, or to distinguish odd from even numbers, or is unable to count at all, or reckon night and day, and who is totally unacquainted with the revolution of the sun and moon, and the other stars. All freemen, I conceive, should learn as much of these branches of knowledge as every child in Egypt is taught when he learns the alphabet. In that country, arithmetical games have been invented for the use of mere children, which they learn as pleasure and amusement. I have late in life heard with amazement of our ignorance in these matters. To me, we appear to be more like pigs than men, and I am quite ashamed, not only for myself, but of all Greeks. I don't know to what extent ignorance of science and mathematics contributed to the decline of ancient Athens, but I know that the consequences of scientific illiteracy are far more dangerous in our time than in any that has come before. It is perilous and foolhardy for the average citizen to remain ignorant about global warming, say, or ozone depletion, air pollution, toxic and radioactive wastes, acid rain, topsoil erosion, tropical deforestation, exponential population growth. Jobs and wages depend on science and technology. If our nation can't manufacture at high quality and low price products people want to buy, then industries will continue to drift away and transfer a little more prosperity to other parts of the world. Consider the social ramifications of fission and fusion power, supercomputers, data highways, abortion, radon, massive reductions in strategic weapons, addiction, government eavesdropping on the lives of its citizens, high-resolution TV, airline and airport safety, fetal tissue transplants, health costs, food additives, drugs to ameliorate mania or depression or schizophrenia, animal rights, superconductivity, morning after pills, alleged hereditary antisocial predispositions, space stations, going to Mars, finding cures for AIDS and cancer. How can we affect national policy or even make intelligent decisions in our own lives if we don't grasp the underlying issues? As I write, Congress is dissolving its own Office of Technology Assessment, the only organization specifically tasked to provide advice to the House and Senate on science and technology. Its competence and integrity over the years have been exemplary. Of the 535 members of the US Congress, rarely in the 20th century have as many as 1% had any significant background in science. The last scientifically literate president may have been Thomas Jefferson. So how do Americans decide these matters? How do they instruct their representatives? Who in fact makes these decisions, and on what basis? Hippocrates of Kos is the father of medicine. He is still remembered 2,500 years later for the Hippocratic Oath, a modified form of which is still here and there taken by medical students upon their graduation. But he is chiefly celebrated because of his efforts to bring medicine out of the pall of superstition and into the light of science. In a typical passage, Hippocrates wrote, "Men think epilepsy divine, merely because they do not understand it. But if they call everything divine, which they do not understand, why, there would be no end of divine things." Instead of acknowledging that in many areas we are ignorant, we have tended to say things like, the universe is permeated with the ineffable. A god of the gaps is assigned responsibility for what we do not yet understand. As the knowledge of medicine improved since the 4th century BC, there was more and more that we understood, and less that had to be attributed to divine intervention, either in the causes or in the treatment of disease. Deaths in childbirth and infant mortality have decreased, lifetimes have lengthened, and medicine has improved the quality of life for billions of us all over the planet. In the diagnosis of disease, Hippocrates introduced elements of the scientific method. He urged careful and meticulous observation. Leave nothing to chance. Overlook nothing. Combine contradictory observations. Allow yourself enough time. Before the invention of the thermometer, he charted the temperature curves of many diseases. He recommended that physicians be able to tell, from present symptoms alone, the probable past and future course of each illness. He stressed honesty. He was willing to admit the limitations of the physician's knowledge. He betrayed no embarrassment in confiding to posterity that more than half his patients were killed by the diseases he was treating. His options, of course, were limited. The drugs available to him were chiefly laxatives, emetics, and narcotics. Surgery was performed, and cauterization. Considerable further advances were made in classical times through the fall of Rome. While medicine in the Islamic world flourished, what followed in Europe was truly a dark age. Much knowledge of anatomy and surgery was lost. Reliance on prayer and miraculous healing abounded. Secular physicians became extinct. Chants, potions, horoscopes, and amulets were widely used. Dissections of cadavers were restricted or outlawed, so that those who practiced medicine were prevented from acquiring first-hand knowledge of the human body. Medical research came to a standstill. It was like what the historian Edward Gibbon described for the entire Eastern Empire, whose capital was Constantinople. In the revolution of 10 centuries, not a single discovery was made to exalt the dignity or promote the happiness of mankind. Not a single idea had been added to the speculative systems of antiquity, and a succession of patient disciples became in their turn the dogmatic teachers of the next servile generation. Even at its best, pre-modern medical practice did not save many. Queen Anne was the last Stuart monarch of Great Britain. In the last 17 years of the 17th century, she was pregnant 18 times. Only 5 children were born alive. Only one of them survived infancy. He died before reaching adulthood and before her coronation in 1702. There seems to be no evidence of some genetic disorder. She had the best medical care money could buy. Diseases that once tragically carried off countless infants and children have been progressively mitigated and cured by science. Through the discovery of the microbial world, via the insight that physicians and midwives should wash their hands and sterilize their instruments, through nutrition, public health, and sanitation measures, antibiotics, drugs, vaccines, the uncovering of the molecular structure of DNA, molecular biology, and now gene therapy. In the developed world, at least, parents today have an enormously better chance of seeing their children live to adulthood than did the heir to the throne of one of the most powerful nations on earth in the late 17th century. Smallpox has been wiped out worldwide. The area of our planet infested with malaria-carrying mosquitoes has dramatically shrunk. The number of years a child diagnosed with leukemia can expect to live has been increasing progressively, year by year. Science permits the Earth to feed about 100 times more humans, and under conditions much less grim than it could a few thousand years ago. We can pray over the cholera victim, or we can give her 500 milligrams of tetracycline every 12 hours. There is still a religion, Christian Science, that denies the germ theory of disease. If prayer fails, the faithful would rather see their children die than give them antibiotics. We can try nearly futile psychoanalytic talk therapy on the schizophrenic patient, or we can give him 300 to 500 milligrams a day of clozapine. The scientific treatments are hundreds or thousands of times more effective than the alternatives. And even when the alternatives seem to work, we don't actually know that they played any role. Spontaneous remissions, even of cholera and schizophrenia, can occur without prayer and without psychoanalysis. Abandoning science means abandoning much more than air conditioning, CD players, hair dryers, and fast cars. In hunter-gatherer pre-agricultural times, the human life expectancy was about 20 to 30 years. That's also what it was in Western Europe, in late Roman, and in medieval times. It didn't rise to 40 years until around the year 1870. It reached 50 in 1915, 60 in 1930, 70 in 1955, and is today approaching 80, a little more for women, a little less for men. The rest of the world is retracing the European increment in longevity. What is the cause of this stunning, unprecedented humanitarian transition? The germ theory of disease, public health measures, medicines, and medical technology. Longevity is perhaps the best single measure of the physical quality of life. If you're dead, there's little you can do to be happy. This is a precious offering from science to humanity, nothing less than the gift of life. Microorganisms mutate. New diseases spread like wildfire. There is a constant battle between microbial measures and human countermeasures. We keep pace in this competition not just by designing new drugs and treatments, but by penetrating progressively more deeply towards an understanding of the nature of life, basic research. If the world is to escape the direst consequences of global population growth and 10 or 12 billion people on the planet in the late 21st century, we must invent safe but more efficient means of growing food, with accompanying seed stocks, irrigation, fertilizers, pesticides, transportation, and refrigeration systems. It will also take widely available and acceptable contraception, significant steps toward political equality of women, and improvements in the standards of living of the poorest people. How can all this be accomplished without science?